Hi, this is Steve Garland, head wrestling coach at the University of Virginia, giving my weekly Virginia Wrestling video newsletter. I wanted to first recap what we did last weekend and then preview what we're doing this weekend. So last weekend, I got to go to the Wolfpack Open. We had 5 guys wrestling attached and then a ton of guys wrestling unattached for a total of, I believe, 18 or 19 guys. And I'll read the list quick so I don't miss anybody. Trey Lane, Sam Book, Nick Coy, Scotty Kiono, Ray Costa, Gray Hart, Michael Murphy, Patrick Evans, Anthony Steinmeier, Justin Phillips, David Veltri, Channing Connors, Christian Kinsey, Robbie Patrick, Jack Walsh, Michael Batista, Drew Peck, and Matus Kudra. So we had a ton of guys wrestling. And there was so much positive that came out of it, just a ton of positive things. And that's why I wanted to share with you guys. Beyond results, I mean, Robbie Patrick won the tournament. He was the champ at 174 in a tough bracket. Michael Batista took second at 184. So there's good things like that. But for me, and I can highlight some of these other guys too, but the biggest thing was this. The first thing is gratitude. The reason why I go to those things, and trust me, there's not a lot of head coaches that go to opens, but the reason why, if I can get there, I get there physically is because there's so much joy in being a part of these guys, our guys that are so grateful to be there. They want to wrestle so bad, and there's joy in that, and it's contagious, and there's so much fun. It's almost like you're going back to why you first started coaching in the first place. I mean, we're up at 5 o'clock in the morning. We're out of the hotel at 5:30. We're working out at 6, weighing in at 7, wrestling at 9, wrestle all day. Nobody complains. Everybody's grateful. Everybody's happy. We're having breakfast together after the weigh-ins at IHOP, and people are excited. And, you know, they're wrestling 5 matches, 6 matches, blood all over their faces, ankles this big, everybody taped up, and yet you don't hear one complaint. It's amazing how that works, and it all comes from that heart of gratitude. They're truly grateful that they're there competing. They're grateful that you're there with them, and there's just something really awesome about that. So the other thing I saw is grit and toughness and resiliency, you know, and just fight. Those things are grinds. I mean, open tournaments are just a grind for everybody. Borderline torture, you know, when you think about it, how long we're there and how match after match after match, and it's like, you know, and every match is a scrap. It's like, you know, one of the things, another thing you see is humility, is these guys walk on the mat knowing there's probably going to be a scrap and I got to fight for every second, as opposed to sometimes guys get a little entitled. The higher the rank, the more they think, well, this guy shouldn't be on the mat with me, or, oh, I can't believe this is happening right now. I'm in a close match. It's not like that at these things. These things, everybody knows that it doesn't matter if you wrestle an NAIA guy, Division II guy, or the nationally ranked guy from such and such Division I team, it's going to be a scrap. And so you see that in the fight. And again, I saw that in our guys. And some of the guys in particular, Sam Book, Gray Hart, Nick Coy, gosh, I already mentioned Batista and Robbie Patrick, Justin Phillips, Michael Murphy. There's just so many of those guys that were out there scrapping every second. So really good day for Virginia wrestling. I was excited to be there, and I'm excited for the culture we have on our team right now that continues to get shown week in and week out. That said, moving forward, now we have the Keystone Classic, which is the next for the starters and non-redshirt guys. It's the next big thing. And so really good tournament. It's at the University of Pennsylvania in the historic Palestra. I used to coach against Penn all the time when I was a young assistant at Cornell University. And so I was in that building a lot, and it's just tons of history. It's a beautiful place, fantastic place to wrestle. It's going to be a great event. I actually wrestled in this event when I was a first year here at Virginia back in the day with Lenny Bernstein as my coach. It was my first ever big college tournament, so it's kind of cool to go back. Coach Reyna, the head coach at Penn, is a great guy. He's got a great staff, does a great job. And then it's going to be nice to see Coach Slay again, old friend who I've done some ministry stuff with, and a guy who was the junior world team head coach when I was a team chaplain and assistant coach for that team. So just an exciting weekend for us coming up. We've got a lot of high seeds. The pre-seeds were announced. I can't talk about those, but you'll see this weekend. I think you'll see a lot of highly seeded guys, but frankly, it doesn't matter. My message to the team is like, your seed is absolutely irrelevant. We have to compete even better than we did last weekend, even though that was a jump from the first weekend. We're looking at those process goals and continue to get better individually and then collectively as a group. So that's what we'll be doing tomorrow. We'll be breaking things down by splitting into our groups. Coaches taking their guys and working on our action items in hopes that we can come home with a bunch of trophies this weekend. After that, we take a nice little rest for Thanksgiving. Very rarely do I give Thanksgiving off, but we're doing that this year, and then we'll be back for Vegas. So stay tuned and go Hoos.